boom, ba, boom. God, I love that song. Just rocks me into and back to the universe. Welcome, everybody. David, Reed, Christine here with Fourth Dimension Paranormal Radio on its season premiere on October 7th in the good year of 2014. We got lots and lots to talk about. We have a lot new listening base coming in, so thank you very much for joining us. Hey, my co-host Deborah Ryers Hawley is with me today. Deborah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We're talking before the show and all the cool things that we're going to discuss. But I want to let it know that you're either going to hate us or you're going to love us. And I only say that because of the fact that we talk about the science thereof and the spirituality. And we combine the two because I think they need to be. But the quest of Fourth Dimension is not to go house to house, business to business, and get the goofs and the gags and hear this and you hear that. And then you go to the next house and you hear the same damn thing. Never get back to the client. Then you go to another house. And what I'm finding is we have a person looking in Cadillac right now for us. And she has said, oh, well, this wonderful place had a paranormal team there and they ruined it. So they don't want any more. Now, they'd ruin it equals many things. Sometimes paranormal teams get in there and they make a mess of the place. They enjoy the refrigerator of the client. They drink and or drug. And they just somehow don't show back up with the evidence. Which, A, they're not reviewing it, or B, they did, and there's not much, but they forgot the client. And I think it's a full circle effort, and it's a lot of work. The hard work is reviewing evidence and video, the audio and video. And that's why you got to have two people or more in the same room when that's being done. Because one person can't sit there and speed through it and not listen and say, well, I went through it and there's nothing. I mean, the worst thing you could possibly do is sit and listen to 8 hours of audio. Right, Deb?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it sucks, and it's okay to break it up, 2 hours here, 2 hours there. But the rule of thumb is we like to have it all done within a week so we can get back to the client and using the right software, take those pieces out, and make sure they're audible. And the same thing with video.
Well, I can say I've never raided anybody's refrigerator or partied at their house.
No, but I don't think that's the biggest problem as much as when we've gone to places, they had said that, well, we never heard from them again.
Yeah.
So we don't know what we got. The stuff is still here or it's not here. Or it got worse. It can get worse after they leave. They can even draw it out. So I think that's the paradigm that in which we live today. And I call them paranormal hobbyists. And this show is not here to bash anyone. I get bashed a lot because of my first 4.5 minutes I just spoke. A lot of people don't like. And I don't care because I'm in the paranormal business on a science quest to find out who they are, where they exist, how they exist, why they choose to exist there and not go to the light, all these things, and draw a big picture because you and I and the listeners are going to be there someday. And the spirits in themselves are navigating, and I want to know what I'm going to. And I think a lot of people do. And if we can get closer to that quest, because I've asked very unorthodox questions when it comes to spirit. And I've had answers like, we don't have time. Time's not relevant here. So I think they're in a space-time continuum, but we'll get into that a little later. Deborah, you joined me for the show. Tell me a little bit about yourself and where you've been and how we hooked.
Let's see. We hooked up on Facebook. I'm a psychic intuitive. I get a lot of impressions from spirit. They will tell me what they look like. I have seen ghosts. I have seen entities and other things that were not so nice. I have been doing this since I was about 8. When I was 8, I started hearing voices and seeing things that just didn't make sense, and people weren't seeing them with me. And my grandmother told me to forget about it for a little while and just tell them to go away, you're too young. So I did, and I was kicked in the head, which might explain part of me, and had 176 stitches when I was 12. And when I was over that, I had passed out for a few seconds, and when I came to, the voices were not muffled anymore. The visions that I had were more clear, and as I got older, they got stronger. My grandmother helped me with that. She showed me how to do cards, and I started out by reading cards, and I started knowing things were going to happen before they did. And so I kind of kept learning, and then I got into some paranormal work, checking out some different places, and been on radio a couple of times, and now I'm with you.
Yeah, pretty cool background, and I think the best thing that ever happened to you was cracking your head open.
I know, and it left a horseshoe, which is a good luck mark on the top of my head, right?
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's there.
All right.
All this hair.
The next time we're grooming each other like baboons, I'll take a peekaboo at it.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I think it's a good addition. We've had mediums on the show to join me in the past, but throughout the process, things happen that I don't like, and I ask them to move along because I do entirely believe in the fact that pursuing the science and the spirituality, you got to remain pure, especially on investigations, of what you're really going for. And you got to have a game plan that your whole team understands. The good news is a lot of these teams that are, the hobbyists, I heard today, you had shared with me anonymously, a team is imploding, and they do implode. And they kind of go away, though they have beautiful websites out there. I tried calling a couple, and they're not in the business anymore. So but the website has been paid for the year, so it's up there for maybe another 4 or 5 months, and then it'll drop off. That's why you still see them up there. So we are, I would say, the investigation team here in the Midwest. Everyone says they're top, but if you look at our numbers on the page, we're the top because we have over 10 or 11,000 followers to this show, and you're going to bring on a hell of a lot too, Deb.
Yeah, on the site.
Right. So people who come via Deb's airplanes landing here, would you all go to that fourth dimension page or where you're listening to it now and say you click on like. That lets us know how many people are listening, where they're listening, and how they're listening. And it also tells us there's a little box in the bottom right, and you have some questions you can write in there. The announcement is that we are going to be moving. The plan is starting November to WKTV, where we will be doing something like this, but a little bit modified, and we won't get into it yet. But Deb's got a big part in that. And the paranormal is something that I enjoy doing and was walked and coaxed into an investigation 4 years ago, which I didn't believe before that, but I do now. So, Deb, you're talking about a little bit more of the things that you do. One of the things that made me laugh is the last time we met, you... Well, you're a psychic, investigator, medium, sensitive, empath, birth, death, seer, angel cards, and so forth. But we were looking at the birthday book that you brought, and each birthday's in there, and I read mine, and it actually it emulated me big time. But I said, like horoscopes, why don't I go a few pages over and see if I read that and if that relates to me? And it did not. So I tried one more and it did not. So there's something to the birthday. And then you said something and I laughed for a while. You said there's 2 dates in the book that if you're born on those dates, you're doomed. There's nothing you can do. You just got to keep getting up and going back down.
Yeah, and I don't remember what those dates are, but I don't know if I'd want to tell those people out there that those 2 dates are really bad. I wouldn't want to preconceive their path. Yeah. Or make them go a different way or feel a certain way and not be able to have the best of the worst day that they could have.
Yeah, so that kind of tickled me pink. Hey, if listeners out there also, would you on Facebook go to Fourth Dimension Paranormal Investigations and ask in that group, join it? After the show, I'll click yeses to it. So if there's a bunch of them, I'll just click them. This is where we post a lot of our evidence. I think the latest one we just reported, and Debbie, you looked at it. That was at the Allegan Regent Theater some time ago, where we left an IR camera in there alone. And the whole place was wired with cameras. And you can see, did you see the blue pulsing orb?
I did.
Okay. That was not a bug, and it had purpose on the way down. I am a big believer in orbs rarely exist. Most of the time it's dust. But, and so many people confuse the both. If they get bored in an evening, they'll go kick up dust on the floor, take some pictures. Oh, we're surrounded by orbs. But this thing certainly had purpose coming out, and it blinked, and it had color. So it had energy of sort. Now, I talked to the owner of the theater, and they thought that it was an actor back 50, 60 years ago who had died off the catwalk, and she had seen it also from time to time. And it talks once in a while. We never got it to talk, but there was some energy there. And it begs the question I have for you, Deborah. Is spirit seems to be in its most natural state, A, unseen, or B, in some sort of energetic ball?
Oh, that's a tough question because there are so many orbs out there that have color, that have faces, that have shapes on the inside of them, almost like spirit bodies inside of a bubble, that it's really hard to tell. I have crossed over some spirits who I have that exact same flash of light that was in your video. So I know that they can do different things. Maybe the energy that they pick up at the time, depending on how strong they are, depends on what color they are, or maybe that is what helps them travel, or maybe that's their soul self, and that's just the shape that they take when they move.